Great, thank you. What a nice intro to this new webinar series, Safe and Sound Software-Defined Vehicle Talks. It's me again, Victor Eliasson, CEO at Diagram. Today we're going to talk about the EU Data Act and how it will impact the automotive industry. I hope everyone will enjoy it. Hopefully we will look into what we can achieve today, and hopefully I could arrange. No, I cannot. I will be back. Wait. Now we'll see. Yes, now we'll see. Hopefully, yes, this is me, of course. It's a little bit tricky when you are alone here in the studio. But the EU Data Act is going to revolutionize the automotive industry in such a manner I think we're not able to foresee it. But this headline of this talk is what are we going to do with our products and our business model going forward? This is not working. I'm really not sure why. This is why I should test things before. So let's see. Probably we will need to take my keyboard here instead. And yeah, it's working. So going forward, of course, I'd like to see, of course, what kind of trends is implying our industry. This is a framework which is PACE, which is the 4 trends that are impacting our industry as today. The first one is polarized world, of course. We have 2 different power struggles, or maybe 3 different kind of sides of the world today, where, of course, Europe is in between of these 3 superpowers. Beforehand, we were doing a lot of things together, manufacturing stuff where we had the best cost, where the best people are doing it. Now we're bringing home manufacturing and other stuff as well, getting more localized, but also this will probably impact different standards, how we standardize processes, regulations, etc. And of course, it's going to be a lot more automation going on. Of course, the big rockstar artificial intelligence are going to impact us a lot, of course, and also other automated processes that will exclude people and manual interaction. The C, of course, is connectivity. We're going to buy our products not depending on maybe the output of the hardware as for a car, where we previously have been looking into the horsepowers, etc. Now we're looking into more the connectivity. Are we buying a car today without Spotify? I will not think so. Yeah, so connectivity, data-driven cars, services within the car is getting more and more important. And of course, electrification is, of course, on maybe not on a whole, but have been slowing down, and of course will be a main driver in the future as well, I think. So, what's the EU Data Act then? The EU Data Act is how to regulate who can use what data and under which conditions. So this is a regulation or a law, or how you can say, that will help users in some way, but also data holders such as automotive OEMs, how they should distribute their data from the users to, for example, third parties as well. And this regulation is going to be from 1st of September 2025, so it will be soon here. And of course, not every IoT product, but many of the IoT products out there, home appliance stuff, cars, for example, will be involved in this regulation, and we will be able as end users to really get the data which the product is produced, and we can use it to actually sell further upon third-party suppliers. I've been stealing this with pride from our so-called friend Wireless Car, and they have identified different parties within this regulation. And as you probably can see here, for example, in the automotive industry, we see that the data holder is, for example, OEM's car. Then we have users. It could be the users using the car. It could be actually different businesses using the car, for example. Moreover, the public sector are able to get a hold on this data if it's for the benefit of the society, or if it's could help out to become a better service provider in science that emergency and how you should handle the city in a correct way to reduce pollution, etc. Then we have the third-party suppliers, such as first top of the mind is like, for example, a Google. It could be Diadrom as well to buy your data for a reasonable amount, and then we can process it and then provide services upon that. So I also stolen this with pride from my colleague Jonas Rönnqvist at Volvo Cars, but of course this is something public, so thank you. However, beforehand we were not able to get all the data from our cars. It was something that the OEMs probably just okay for that they were just able to give the data for no such a reason, really. But now they're actually obliged to do that from the 1st of September. But they also should also be able to give it to third-party players if we as a user give our consent to do that. So, what is this really the end game of this then? Currently, we have been handling data as something that we treasure really, really high, that we should keep to ourselves. But this is not the right thing to do anymore, and it's not legal to do it anyway. So we have to share it. So data is not valuable as is today. We need to translate data into services, and then our data is valuable. My thought of this EU Data Act is that I think it's one of the first domino bricks to create a software-defined vehicle, as now we are able to get data from the car, we can build services upon it, we can create better transparency, what the data is actually what the car is actually sending. But I think this is the first of the domino bricks, because our next step might be that we can actually not just read our data, but we can also write data to the car, and this will open up a lot of cool business models, a lot of new innovation. If you are able to develop features by your own, or as, for example, different tier 1 or tier 2 suppliers could adapt their features or improve their features and sell more value-added services to the end user of the car, and then we are actually coming close to the software-defined vehicle. So, what about the car then? I think this is a really, structured way of producing a lot of data, and it's real data. It's a lot of interesting data points within it. It's handling how we drive our cars, what kind of location we have been to, different kind of sensors within it, both images, but also, for example, touch stuff. I think this is a really good product to have as an example how EU Data Act will impact the industry as a whole, but also all other products out there. But one of the challenges, of course, with software-defined vehicle or the car today is that we have a lot of data coming out of the car. It's about 1 gigabyte per second if we are in a high-end ADAS kind of version car. And of course, how should we extract that kind of data as an OEM to our end users? It's like someone said, it's like using a straw sucking all the water out of a glass in once, really. So how should we do it? How should we manage the data feed from the car? It's a big question, and I have no answer right now. However, I think this is some kind of framework we have to look into when we are developing our services and going forward with the EU Data Act. I think, of course, to create a safe product, safe service, of course, core. Of course, we have to make it secure so we're not able to lose data, lose personal data. Of course, that we are making a secure application, etc. So our end users will use it accordingly and not afraid of using this kind of services that are enabled from the EU data. And of course, sustainable business model. Of course, how could we make a more sustainable world? How can we make a sustainable service from this data from the automotive? Of course, sustainability is a huge topic, but it's one really interesting thing how we could make more sustainable services with the car in focus. The last and foremost, I think, is this kind of seamless approach developing services. How can we use the car to make it as a medium? How we create a seamless ordinary day for people from when they wake up to going to the work. How can they pick up their coffee before they enter work? Can we help them with their health while they are sitting in the car by analyzing their eyes, sensors, heartbeat, etc.? How could we make a seamless integration to the power grid so we can actually make money when we have been charging our car through the night? There's a lot of interesting stuff here, but I think the car will be a medium to this, how we create a seamless interaction with other services or other kind of products and reduce stress of the people today, ordinary day. And how should we start then? I think, as I've been trying to preach, and many of me before, of course, we need to come to a software point of development. We need to start looking to shift left, of course. We need to build infrastructure that are managing a lot of data, of course, a huge amount of data. And then we can use this infrastructure to iterate and deploy different kind of services going forward. And we have to be really good at iterating services, kill our darlings, and come up with new services that people are actually using. So use your MacGyvers really wisely, your Dukes and Udeses software team to produce great infrastructure that will make and enable your deployment of new services even faster and at a cheaper cost. Okay, the second thing I think we need to, a lot of customers of ours are developing some kind of one source of truth, if you call it API or SDK or whatever, but a middle layer that communicates with all your kind of products, to all your databases, all your systems. This will, of course, create some kind of, what you call it, one communication framework. And if we do that, we're actually able to come up with a quite neat implementation where we have a centralized API, which we're able to automate compliance, automate testing and verification, make a really nice, what do you call it, automated, we have one middle layer to handle with care and to develop upon. I think that's a really good reason, instead of having a lot of vectors, a lot of processes going to the vehicle, instead of just having one, which are really, really neat and tested. And so, and last and foremost, of course, we need to start with building new services that people are actually using. About 70% of all the services today are never used by our end users. So that's a lot of waste of money, and we need to start to explore new services all the time. Some of the automotive players are already giving us the pleasure to try this kind of interaction with the car. We're now able to, this is just a few examples, but Mercedes-Benz, Renault, and Volvo cars have their own sites where you're able to interact with your car. You can actually fetch your GPS points. You can open the baggage door, etc., and you're able the trunk. And a lot of more. So you can start developing services already now and look into how you can use it and what kind of data you can extract from your car. For example, this of course is a possible enabler for such buzzwords as artificial intelligence. And here at Diagram, we have looked into fetching a lot of data from our employees' cars with their consent, of course, to create some kind of model, which we are calling Dia and Rome, which are able to help car users talking with their car and see if there's any interesting going on within the car, and of course see how we can use our car in a better way, or if it's actually can send a report to a repair shop if we hear some noise and find any irregularities in the data. And this, of course, is not just for whole car, but you can use it for different kind of applications as well. For this example, we have a internal combustion engine, which we can fetch these kind of parameters and data. And of course, then we can create a model which we're able to see how different kind of combustion engines are doing in different kind of environments. How could they help each other with an AI model to put or change parameter settings so they are more efficient? Because of course, should the engine in Nevada and the desert be having the same setup as an engine in Kiruna in the north of Sweden, which is really snowy and cold? Maybe not. And of course, there are also applications which you can apply to, for example, a car retailer. Here you can see Mr. Mr. President Barack Obama here, selling cars. For example, he sells a Volvo, but he's also able to sell a lot of other OEM brands, and he actually could benefit by picking up data from the other car and create a whole fleet which he could extract data, and he could tailor-made the service agreement, or he can see where people are going with the cars, how much they're driving, if they are maybe visiting other car sellers, retailers, and then he could maybe contact them. This is just ideas, what might not be legal, but this is ideas how we can handle this. But of course, it's a big but, because Barak has to offer some kind of incentive to the users in some kind of small fee to get their data. That's a must, and maybe he will invite them for a 50% discount for the first service or etc. Then he able to harvest the data, of course, with the end users' consent. So what should we do then? I think, of course, like this old guy, Steve Jobs said, that we need to start iterate services. There's a lot of interesting services out there to be innovated, and this is just the beginning of what we're able to withdraw, what kind of data we can build our service upon, and I think there will be really interesting applications in the future. So hopefully we can make a better user experience with this. So great, 22 minutes, great. Thank you for listening. If you want to talk more about this, let me know. Follow me on LinkedIn or give me a call or email. Thank you.